is about the sixth international exporter of beef. Just because Argentina said, well, beef is too good, we'll eat it ourselves and stop selling it in the international market. So Paraguayan beef became really famous, actually, for buyers. I talked to a few of them and they said, well, it's pretty good stuff. So that is a curse for this. Well, the economy is actually based in, as you see there, basically in beef and soybean exports. Soybeans, of course, are the main exports. So this is what the industry looks in Paraguay a few years ago, but still it's pretty much the same structure. Most of the beef produced is for export. Actually, the Paraguayan population only takes around 8% of that production. And this is done in environments like this. Mia mentioned that deforestation precedes production. So this is the place, and this is the same place 6 months, or actually 4 months after that picture was taken. And that's an indigenous person that used to live there when he was a kid, saying, well, look, this is not my home any longer. This production is taking place on soil. That's what the entrepreneurs or farmers think. Oh, we need soil. And where's the soil? Under the forest. So we'll have to clear it. Not just clear it. They don't even sell the timber, although there is valuable timber there. This mound is actually the hut of indigenous people that live in voluntary isolation in these forests. They were never, they've chosen not to have contact with us, basically. They want, yeah, I think they know something about us, and they just prefer to remain alone there. They've been living for about 5,000 years. As we see, this production is taking place in land that belonged to someone else. This population have been there for, in this case, is the Ayoreo people. They've been living there for at least 3,000 years. So there are many considerations that are not taken into account when you plan this type of market-driven, export-driven operations. That's just a normal cattle ranch, which is in a place similar to that. But this is how it looks like. You just go there and burn everything, and you transform the forest into this, and this is how it looks from an airplane, actually, an aerial view of the situation. These are pastures, and those little dots are not cattle. It's just, they're basically empty. So speculative that they actually cleared about 50% more than what they're actually using. In terms of, and this is just, remember, this is just Paraguay, a very small country that doesn't contribute much to the overall emissions. It's 0.6%. 20% is due to the enteric fermentation of the Paraguayan livestock. This is actually the, including deforestation, it will go up to 70%. The whole contribution of the sector. This is the process of deforestation. In 1945, when they made this first, well, they used to make maps in the 19th century in Paraguay, but then we had like a complete destroyed country for a while. In 45, they made this map, and this is what the forest cover used to be. around 10 million, well actually 15 million hectares. But of the forest that we appreciated as forests, which is subtropical moist forest, was about 8 million. So all of this area, which is at the moment about 4 million of those hectares are covered by soybeans. I mean, the soybean wheat or soybean corn rotation. But most of this deforestation, over 90%, was done to place ranches, cattle ranches, because of the social structure of Paraguay. We had a dictatorship that came about, seized power in 1954, and all the military cronies of the dictator, who was also a general, they wanted to be people. It's an expression we used to say, well, we want to become part of the oligarchy. So then, of course, you have to gotta own your own ranch. You gotta have your ranch to be like the prior oligarchy. So he distributed land, and they started destroying it, clearing it, to put these ranches all over the place. You see, 91 was this, and this is pretty much what we have now. You can't destroy it farther than this, actually. We have a few protected areas, about 10% of what we had, 8 to 10 in very small patches. At the moment, you see all of this area is the area under soy production. It's very productive. Most of it was dry forest, to generalize it. And this is the situation now. All the white stuff you see there, that's cleared land. So you had cleared land here and down there. Now you have it all over the place. This is all completely fragmented now. The only thing we have almost ensured is protected areas here and protected areas over there. And that's all of the rest is actually have been already privatized. Yeah? That's scat owners that, just like this floor here, they have a little square over there, and they will soon start to build a ranch. And for what? Beef exports in that case. Yeah, our main clients are Russia, Brazil. Actually, Brazil, and Mia mentioned the involvement of the Brazilian companies in beef exports, and about 60 to 70% of all the beef exported from Paraguay is done through Brazilian packing houses. So these are our main clients. The case, some of this might be getting to China as well, of course, through Brazil. Because once the beef leaves Paraguay, we don't have actually Paraguay, I have to clarify this, Paraguay doesn't have commercial relations with China. Although like 50% of the consumer goods come from China in Paraguay at this very moment. And about 40% of our soybeans is reported to go to China. And this is the whole operation. This is not just a Paraguayan economic trend. This is a map. Some very clever activists, Syngenta made this map actually. This is the way they see the future for this part of the neotropical belt. These are proven to be very, probably the most economically productive soils for soybeans. That's why they created this new republic here. Yeah, República Unida de la Soja, they called it. And it wasn't activists like us doing it, it was Syngenta who proposed that. It's a pretty big, it's about the size of France. So it's a regional trend, and all of those 500,000 hectares will look like pretty much like this. Although it's not all very continuous because there are mountain ranges and rivers in between. It's almost. If you look at the satellite pictures, you actually very easily get used to this picture. You can recognize this going for thousands of kilometers. This again, the deforestation. I don't know why it's twice. And this is the way the soybeans expanded in Paraguay at the moment. You see all the yellow areas. Whenever they find a little bit of soil suited for soybeans, they go in. That's, of course, because our authorities allow it. Our land planning doesn't really contemplate more than just the title. You get the title, you basically have the right to do whatever you want. They don't even charge you taxes for that. The average turnover of a hectare of these farms, of these ranches, until 2013, it was about, easily $1,000 to $900 to $1,200, depending on the area. And the taxes they paid for the ground was about $2 per hectare per year. So it's pretty much like one of those fiscal havens. What do you call them? Tax havens. You put a dollar in Paraguay, of course you won't pay much for it. And they plant everywhere. This is a school surrounded by soy fields. In the next one, I think we'll see the soybeans approaching. This is just a hut. A family most likely used to live there, and now it became just a shack for I don't know, whatever they put, the chemicals or the tools. If you see here, this is a very useful crop in Paraguay to make mate. It's an herb that we collect and then we drink it year round. So we put some vitamin C in our system and also electrolytes, so we don't dehydrate. But anyway, 200,000 hectares of this crop were lost to, and it's a perennial crop. Huh? It's like an orchard to soybeans. And whenever you see this, that means that a family was living there. And you see these places all over the place. This is how it looks like. This is a person that probably lives somewhere there and has to cross these fields infested with pesticides. Or actually, during a season, they have to spray it about once a week. Either herbicides at the beginning, and then they have to use. Normally, it would have been just one application at the beginning, and then one application of herbicide when the pods of the soybeans were mature, to dry it and then to harvest it all at once. But that's not possible anymore because there are so many herbicide-resistant weeds that they had to. The first reaction was to apply from the farmers to apply more and more herbicides. So that's why you started to see these conflicts. Why is the police there guarding the spraying process? Because people got really fed up of this spraying. It became much too often. It's impossible to live around this and subject to this spraying. So they had to call in the police, not to protect the guys that are just trying to breathe or eat in their homes, but to protect the farmers that are spraying with the whatever pesticide. They got a very, very big choice now because they have more enemies. Their agricultural system based on genetically modified seeds is not working anymore. So these are a few of the chemicals they use. Glyphosate in the first place. We will get to the. This is actually the most broadly used in soy culture, and paraquat. Paraquat is being used more, even than when paraquat was the herbicide. We used to use much less paraquat when paraquat was the first choice, and at the moment it's supposed to be used only to dry the crop so we can harvest it all at once. But green label would mean that's actually fine, low toxicity, right? Also, blue is also low toxicity. Insecticides that you will actually use in very, very low doses will be sold to you as having basically no effect on yourself, on human beings and animals. But not one drop of this can touch the water where you have fish, for instance. They don't kill it immediately. So how safe is this? And then you have the red label. This should have been a bit darker, red, real red. And that's because it's more dangerous. So endosulfan and paraquat are those in the same category. So paraquat is what the toxicity of paraquat was taken as the main reason to create glyphosate to replace this type of herbicides.
What does paraquat do?
It's a herbicide.
What is paraquat?
It kills the plants. Herbicide. Yeah. So.
But what does it do to human beings?
To human beings.
And to animals and fish?
Everything. Can I say it here? It causes everything, from cancer to hormonal imbalances. But the main thing, of course, is cancer. Respiratory problems, liver problems. It's associated with so many malfunctions. And of course,